Hi, Dr. Jamie here. Thanks for stopping by for a new moon yoga practice. I hope that you enjoy this practice, and if you do, you'll give it a thumbs up at the end and maybe even consider subscribing to my channel to support this kind of content. This new moon yoga practice is going to focus on the first and second chakras. Remember, the chakras are the main energy wheels along the center meridian of our energy body. The first chakra, also called the root chakra, is associated with the color red. Through the root chakra, we feel connections, groundedness, a part of the earth, the physical world. Also, the root chakra is important for helping us to feel safe, secure, and that our physical needs are being attended to. The second chakra, just above the root chakra, it has to do with creativity and is associated with the color orange. So once we know that we are rooted securely into this earth, our needs are taken care of, and we are safe, we have so much more space to create and unfold new projects, new ideas, new relationships through the process of the new moon. So let's do some new moon yoga. Find a comfortable seated position. Be sure to elevate your hips on a cushion or maybe a yoga block if you have a difficult time sitting on the floor and keeping your spine lengthened. If your tailbone is tipping forward and your low back is rounding, then you need to lift your seat up a little bit higher. Give your hips, your glutes, a low back a break. All right, once you've settled into your comfortable seated position, close your eyes and turn your focus inward to the breath. Balancing the breath, pulling the breath slowly in to the count of 4. Exhale to the count of 4 as well. Balancing the inhale equal to the exhale, helping to balance the energy in the mind and body. We'll begin our yoga practice chanting Om, Ah, O, and we'll do that 3 times. Allow the breath to flow in. Om. Om. Allow your eyes to open and continue to balance the belly breath. So let's get into a seated twist to begin to wake up the spine. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, draw your belly in. Pull the pelvic floor up and in as you twist to the right. Right hand behind you, nice long spine. Deepen the breath here. And then inhale, long spine, come back to forward. Exhale, release the pose. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, draw the belly in. Pull the pelvic floor up and in as you then twist to the left. Deepen the breath here. Inhale, lengthen up, come back to forward. Arms straight and strong, seated cat and cow. Inhale, belly forward, shoulders back, tip the tailbone back, arch the back. Exhale, pull the belly in, pull the perineum up and in, the pelvic floor, tip the tailbone forward and round the back. Inhale, seated cow, arch the back. Exhale, pull the belly in, draw the pelvic floor up and in, round the back. Seated cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. One more time. Pull the belly in. Draw the pelvic floor up and in. One round of breath here. And then release back to the long spine. Wide angle with the legs. If you would like to come off of your cushion or your block or your brick, go for it. But if it's too much rounding of your lower back to come off, then stay right there. Wide V with the legs. Lengthen out through the mounds of the big toes. Flare the pinky toes. Fingertips on the floor in front of you, or if you want to put blocks to give yourself a little bit more lift for the hands, go for it. Now, soften the hips, the glutes, the low back, even though the lower legs are working. Muscle energy working in the lower legs. Soften and release the thighs, the hips, the glutes. Keeping this will change the tilt of the pelvis to deepen the stretch. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, the crest of the pelvis comes forward, tailbone rocks back. Feel the deepening of the stretch in the groin and the back of the thighs. Breathe into it, softening and releasing the thighs, the hips, the low back. Keep that belly breath balanced and rolling through. So as you soften and release the groin and the thighs and the hips, glutes, low back, if you can get a little bit of release of the tension there, you have created space to deepen the pose. Ding, 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 ding. Go you. So we want to deepen mindfully, slowly, so that our minds have time to register what our bodies are telling us and we don't overstretch. So we're listening to the body here, and if you would like to go deeper, inhale, long spine, rock the tailbone back, let the crest of the pelvis come slightly forward. Notice that I'm keeping a long spine and that my heart space is open. The shoulders are moving back and down the back so that I'm not hunching forward to bring the heart forward. Okay, one more round of breath here. And then inhale, expand with breath. Come on up out. Fold the left leg, sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh. Again, lengthen the line of the leg. Extend out through the mound of the big toe. Flare the pinky toe. Soften the right hip and glutes. Square your shoulders to the right foot. Inhale, nice long spine. As you exhale, let your shoulders just soften down the back. We're going to deepen this pose by allowing the heart to lead the way. Big breath in. Exhale, draw the belly in. Pull the pelvic floor up and in as you let the heart move over the right leg. Soften and release the back of the right thigh. Deepen the breath here. And then inhale, come up. Bring the right hand inside of the right thigh, left hand to the hip. We're gonna inhale, lengthen up through the spine, draw the shoulders back. Let the roof of the mouth come back over the body. Pull the belly in, and then we're gonna come on down to the elbow on the right thigh. Slide that elbow away from you. Right palm faces the sky. Right shoulder back. Bring the head back. Left shoulder back. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, pull the belly in. Draw the pelvic floor up and in. Reach the left arm over. Right shoulder back. Roof of the mouth moves back. Draw that left armpit back. Radiating lightning bolts out the fingertips. Muscle energy working in the hands, in the arms. Keep the breath pumping as you pull the pelvic floor up and in. One more round of breath here. You got it. And then to come out mindfully, inhale, expand with breath. Lengthen up through the crown. Come on back to switching to the left side. Folding the right leg, left leg straight. Extend out through the mound of the big toe. Flare the pinky toe. Here we go. Squaring the shoulders to the left leg. Take a moment to soften the shoulders. Let the shoulders melt down the back. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, draw the belly in. Pull the pelvic floor up and in as you move the heart over the leg. Deepen the breath here. Lower leg is engaged, extending out through the mound of the big toe, flaring the pinky toe, but we're going to soften and release the left thigh. One more round of breath here. And then to come out of the pose, inhale, expand with breath. Lengthen up and exhale, release the pose. Left hand inside of the left thigh, right hand to the hip. Find the length in your spine. As you exhale, draw the belly in, pull the pelvic floor up and in, and then we're going to come on down to that left elbow, slide the elbow away from you. Left palm faces the sky. Left shoulder back, roof of the mouth moves back, right shoulder back. Belly pulling in, pelvic floor drawing up and in, and reach the right arm over. Spread your fingers wide, muscle energy working through the fingers, the wrists, the forearms, the arms, the shoulders. Keep the core engaged as you draw the pelvic floor up and in. Reach the right arm over to the left side. One more round of breath here. And then coming out mindfully, big breath in, expand. Lengthen up. Come on out of the pose. Moving into child's pose now. If you've got a knee pad, go ahead and grab it. Knees as wide as the mat, big toes together. Find the length in your spine first, then settle the sits bones to the heels. From here, release the belly between the thighs. And you can bring your forehead to the floor or maybe stack your hands together. Just be mindful that you're not straightening the neck and dropping your head straight down to the floor. You can always bring a block in if you need a little bit more height so that you don't drop your head straight down to the floor. Close your eyes and deepen the breath. One more round of breath here. And then inhale, big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly up and in and come to seated. Clear your mat. And we're going to transition to lying on our backs on the floor. Moving into reclined pigeon pose. So take a moment here on the floor to soften and release. Release your neck, Release your shoulders. And allow the breath to deepen. Starting with the right leg, big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw your belly in and lift the right foot. Bring the right ankle just past the left low thigh. Take a moment here to soften and release the hips, the glutes, the low back. Before moving into the pose, here we go. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, lift that left foot and take a hold of the left thigh. I'm extending out through the mounds of the big toes and flaring the pinky toes, muscle energy working in the lower legs. Try to soften the right hip and glutes. Deepen the breath here. Release your neck and shoulders. One more round of breath in this position. And then engage your belly to lower the left foot to the floor, switch sides. Left ankle just past the right low thigh. Take a moment to enjoy your breath. And now we'll move into the pose. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, pull the belly and lift the right foot. Take a hold of that right thigh. Extend out through the mounds of the big toes. Flare the pinky toes. Soften and release the left hip and glutes. Release your neck and shoulders. One more round of breath in this position. And then to come out, big breath in. Exhale, engage the core, lower the right foot to the floor. Going back to the first side again. Right ankle just past the left low thigh. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, lift the left foot, and find your hold on the left thigh. Let's go a little deeper this time. So once you found the pose, softening and releasing the right hip and glutes. If you can get a little bit of release there, then try isometrically pressing the right shin into the left thigh. Feel the tension building there in the right hip and glutes. Keep the pressure of shin pressing into thigh. Soften and release the right hip and glutes. One more round of breath here. And then big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in. Lower the left foot. Uncross, switch sides. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in. Lift the right foot up. Find your hold of that right thigh. Same position with the feet. Extending out through the mound of the big toe. Flare the pinky toe. So we're engaging the lower legs. Soften and release the left hip and glutes. If you can get a little bit of that tension to release, then try to go a little deeper. Press the left shin into the right thigh. Let that muscle energy build, but soften and release the left hip and glute even as you are pushing them together isometrically. Release your neck, shoulders. So while we've got this work going on in the lower body, we do not want tension in the upper body. So if it's a strain for you to get a hold of this right thigh, you can always use a strap so that you can release your shoulders and neck and not having to be creating tension here. One more round of breath in this position. And then to come out, big breath in. Exhale, draw the belly in, lower the right foot, uncross, release the legs to the floor. Take a moment to soften and enjoy your breath. Notice the difference in the way your hips and glutes feel now compared to when we started. One more round of breath in this position. And then arches together, ankles together, feet are flexed. Big breath into the belly. Push the floor away from you with the arms straight and strong. Exhale, draw the belly in, lift the knees up to the chest, take the knees wide, keep the big toes together, soften the neck and shoulders, reclined child's pose. Draw the knees out and up toward the armpits, keep the big toes magnetized together. One more round of breath in this position. And then knees together. Release the legs. Roll to your right side. Left hand on the floor in front of you. Big breath in. Exhale, draw the belly in as you push on up to seated. Taking a moment here in the seated position to bring your focus back into the breath. Grounding into the stability of the earth. Imagine inhaling and pulling the breath in through the crown of the head. Expand with breath. Now as you exhale, see the breath moving down the body, down through the sits bones into the earth. Soften and release with the exhale. Inhale, pull the breath in through the crown. Exhale, send the breath down through the sits bones, back to the earth, grounding, softening, releasing. And allow the eyes to open. We'll move into low lunge. Take care of your knees. Be sure you've got a knee pad. A beach towel will work. If you've got blocks to give you a little bit of extra room to work with, go ahead and grab them. Maybe bring them to the highest setting. As you breathe in, exhale, draw the belly up and in, lift the right knee out, swing the foot around, come into the low lunge. So I'm gonna bring my right knee over my right ankle. I've got the blocks here for stability. Back toes root into the floor. Front foot roots into the floor. Draw the legs toward one another. Pull the pelvic floor up and in. Lengthen up through the crown. Once you get this muscle energy working in the legs, hugging in together, pelvic floor drawing up, low belly pulling in, then go ahead and deepen your lunge just a bit further. Nice long spine. Let the breath roll through. One more round of breath here. And then to come out mindfully. Big breath in. Exhale, draw the belly and push yourself back. Bring the right knee under, left knee out and around, switch sides. Root those back toes into the floor. Root the front foot into the floor. Hug the legs inward. Draw the pelvic floor up and in. Once you find that strength and stability in the lower body, then deepen your lunge. Nice long spine. Keep the breath rolling through. One more round of breath here. And then big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly and push back. Now we're going to come into archer pose. So right foot forward, right ankle directly below the right knee. Keep the left knee under the hip. This is not a lunge. We're keeping the left thigh more perpendicular to the floor. Right knee over the right ankle, left knee under the hip. So find this position and the length in your spine. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, pull the pelvic floor up and in. Draw the thighs in towards one another as you bring the arms straight out to Superwoman or Superman, and then turn the palms face one another. Gentle fists. Root down through the legs, hug the legs together, pull the pelvic floor up and in. Adding a twist. Inhale, big breath in. Exhale, pull the belly in, bring the right elbow back. Lifting the right elbow. Left arm reaches forward. Right fist hugging into the front of the right shoulder. Deepen your breath here in archer pose. Keep your eyes focused on your goal, your prize ahead of you. And then release the arrow of intention moving forward. And then arms coming back to forward. Shoulders melting down the back. Bring your hands to the blocks. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in, switch sides. Left ankle under the knee, right hip over the right knee. Root down through the feet, hug the legs in together, find the length in your spine. Draw the perineum up and in, pull the belly in. Come to balancing, then the hands come forward, Superwoman, Superman, palms face one another. Deepen the breath. Keep that engagement in the lower body. Gentle fists. Draw the left shoulder back. Bring your bowstring back. Right arm extending forward. Keep the shoulders moving down the back, away from your ears. Eyes on your prize. And then release the arrow of intention. Arms straight and strong. Release the pose. Bring the knees back underneath you. Coming into downward facing puppy. Keep a block. Clear the rest of your mat except for your knee pad. Knees are hip width apart. Feet are hip width apart with the toes turned under. Send the sits bones back to the heels. Notice if you get a good stretch in the arches. If you want to deepen the stretch in the feet, flare the pinky toes into the floor, root the toes into the floor. If this is too much for you and it sends you into cramping of the feet, go ahead and release the tops of your feet to the floor. Settle the sits bones back to the heels, extend the arms forward. Let the forehead come to resting on your block. Spread the fingers wide. Press the fingertips into the floor. Keep the armpits drawing up, away from the floor, and the shoulder blades moving down the back. This is not a resting pose. This is not child's pose because we are working. Press the palms into the floor. Feel the engagement in the shoulder girdle. Deepen the breath here. One more round of breath in this position. And then big breath into the belly. Exhale, come on up to the neutral tabletop position. We're going to press up into down dog. Spread the fingers wide, arms are straight and strong. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, pull the belly up and in and push back through the arms. Push the heart back towards the knees. You can keep the knees bent. You can walk the dog, bending one leg, straightening the other. Come into the full extension of the pose. So check the position of your wrists. Wrists are shoulder width apart. Feet are hip width apart. Keep the belly drawing up and in. Draw the pelvic floor up and in, away from the floor. Send your weight back through the heels. Deepen the breath. Keep the belly pulling up and in. One more round of breath here. If down dog is too much for you, go with down puppy. Release back down to down puppy. Stay there and deepen the breath. One more round of breath here. And then big breath into the belly. Lift your gaze to your hands. Exhale, draw the belly in. Pull the pelvic floor in and send your weight forward into plank pose. Shoulders over the wrists. Push the floor away from you. Draw the belly up and in. Send the weight back through the heels. If full plank is too much, drop the knees. Lengthen the spine. Pull the belly up and in. Draw the pelvic floor up and in. One more round of breath here. Go ahead, come to child's pose. Knees as wide as the mat. Big toes together. Clear that block out of the way unless you need it for your child's pose. Settle the sits bones to the heels. Release the belly down toward the floor. Let your forehead come to a comfortable position that allows you to soften and release the muscles in the neck and shoulders. Slow and deepen the breath after exertion. Forward folds are a good way to cool the nervous system down and help yourself ground. Grounding down into the stability of the earth and helping yourself to come out of reactivity, to cool off after exerting. Rooting down into the stability of the earth. Finding a moment of quiet. Expanding into that before moving forward. One more round of breath here. And then coming out of the pose, big breath into the belly. Exhale, draw the belly up and in, and come to a comfortable seated position for our meditation. Once you've found your comfortable seated position for meditation, turn your focus inward to the breath. We'll bring in a relaxing breathing pattern, pulling the breath slowly, deeply into the count of 3. Extend your exhale to 5. Inhale, expanding to the count of 3. Exhale, soften, release to the count of 5. Let yourself settle. Soften and release the hips, the glutes, the low back. Soften, release the neck, the shoulders. Allow a subtle smile to come into your mind's eye and to spread gently into the muscles of the face. Continuing to deepen your breath. Let's take a little time to consider what new energy, what new growth, what we would love to create as we move through this next moon cycle. See if you can come up with maybe a word or two representing the energy that you would love to bring to the world as you move through this next moon cycle. Whether that world is your home, your yard, your relationships, maybe your work. Think of or your play, your artistry. Think of a word or two that represents what you would love to bring to all of this as you move forward in the next cycle of the moon. Now take a moment to consider what would feed your soul, what would nurture and refill your well as you move through this next moon cycle. Come up with a word or two that represents what would nourish and sustain you in vibrance as you move through the next moon cycle. Now we'll take these intentions and link them with our breath. Inhaling, saying to yourself, I receive, and add the word or two of the energy you would delight in receiving, in opening to, in allowing to flow through your being. As you exhale, saying to yourself, I offer, and then add the word or two that represents what you would love to radiate outward into your world as you move through this next cycle of the moon. Inhale, I receive. Exhale, I offer. Now allow the words to dissipate, continuing to focus on the breath. Taking a moment to feel into the expansiveness of the energy moving through your whole body, from the tip of the toes, out through the fingertips, and up through the crown of the head. One more round of breath here. And then allow your eyes to open. Thank you for joining me for this new moon yoga practice. I hope you have a great month. Namaste well, namaste creative. Bye for now.